Hi everyone, and welcome back to my kitchen. Tonight we have such a treat. We are having enchiladas. I don't think we've made Mexican food together, but this is delicious. And this was something that was always asked for when I was growing up. You know, you had special meals that you'd have for special occasions. I know my mom did this and I did this with our kids. On your birthday, you got to pick what we had for dinner. I always picked Mexican dinner, and it's gotten a lot simpler, it seems, but because it was always one of those things that took a lot of time. When I'm cooking, I'm cleaning all the time because when I get finished, I don't want to have a ton of dishes in the sink. And that's one of these things, if you didn't clean as you go, you have a ton of dishes in the sink when you're done. But it's really delicious. I think you'll enjoy it, and it's very, very special. I was just a little girl when I got this recipe when Mother got it, because it came from her cousin, and it had to be in the early 60s, mid 60s. So Louise Petty, her cousin from Oklahoma City. But I've already got it started for us. So in this pan, we have 1.5 pounds of ground beef. And I added to that just 1.5 tablespoons of chili powder. And I know I've mentioned to you that sometimes if you buy the great big spices that you can't use them up, you know, with chili powder, because we like things spicy. The big one in chili powder, I never waste. So 1.5 tablespoons of chili powder. That's where we're at, and 1/2 an onion. And like I say, I used a white onion. I really think you could use any onion you wanted to here. So let me turn this up just a little bit. So we're going to put some sauces in. This is just 1/2 cup of water and 1/2 cup of ketchup. You know, I don't know why you don't use a tomato paste or tomato sauce. This is the recipe. It's what I've always done, and we love it. So you just stir that up, and I don't know why, but I love the smell of that ketchup in here. It's kind of sweet. I think it tastes and smells yummy. All right, we got that going. It also calls for a can of ranch style beans. Any bean would probably work, but like I said, you know, if it works, I'm not changing it. We love the ranch style beans in here. So I'm going to stir that up, and really that's all. This is the topping that's going on the enchilada. We're just going to fill the tortillas with cheese and onion. So this is going to be the topping. And then really the topping is the cheese, because the cheese will go right on top. But we're going to let this warm up while I show you what I do to the tortillas to get them ready and then get them rolled up. So I've got that on medium. We'll let that cook. Okay, now we're going to move over here. I have already done, I think, 12 tortilla shells. I'm going to let this warm just a little bit. But what we're going to do, this is just a 9 by 13 pan. And this is what our enchiladas are going to go in. And I was going to show you, because we're going to just kind of flash fry them in very shallow oil, you want to make sure you've got some paper towel. I always have my paper towel. I always have everything ready sitting here, because when it starts moving, it moves pretty fast. So you kind of have to have everything ready. But this is just going to flash fry these shells. And I have it, let me turn it over here. I have it right there. We're at a halt here. But we are going to do that. Let me just go, I tell you what I'll do. Let me show you my cheese real quick while we're waiting on that to heat up. Because we're going to use a lot of this cheese on top, and I wanted to do something that would melt really well, I bought a block of cheese. So I just pulled out my food processor, sliced it up so I could fit it down in this tube, and I'm just going to do my cheese that way. It melts so much better. Sometimes I've used that processed cheese in the bag. It works fine. This just seems to melt a little bit easier. So listen to this, but watch. Isn't that awesome? I know not everybody has a food processor, but you know, put it on your wish list for your birthday or Christmas. And I use it all the time. I use it for, there's my dog again. I use it for all kinds of things, different recipes. So it's worth it. It is a little pricey, but I promise you'll use it a lot. Let me see if I feel like we're hot enough here. If not, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to move on, and I'll show you that in just a second. This is where we're doing our enchiladas. I'm using plain American cheese. Put it in. Little bit of onion, and roll it up. We're just going to do that all the way to the end. These are ones I've already gotten ready. And you'll see they're all separated with a little bit of paper towel. That was just my way of making sure they didn't get overly oily. I do 2 at a time. I don't know if I think that's the magic number. Maybe I do, but it works fine. So just a little repetitious, I guess, but I could have gotten that done for you a little ahead of time. You know what? If you didn't want to use onion, absolutely eliminate the onion. Or let me stir this. It's getting a little ahead of us. I'll turn it down. You could do just cheese without onion. I think if BJ, our middle son, our middle child, he doesn't really like onion either. I would probably omit them. I think I have done that before when he's been here. But so you just do however you want these. You could even put meat in them. I've seen lots of recipes where they actually put the meat in the enchilada itself inside the tortilla. We've just never done that. I mean, I've had meat enchiladas, but this, like I said, I'm kind of a stickler for my recipes if we really like them. I just kind of do the same one over and over. That's what I've done here. Okay, this is hot, I know, because I can feel it. So let me get my paper towel here. Watch how fast this is going to happen. That's all you're doing. You're making sure this is pliable. You see how easy these have been for me to use? That's the only reason you're doing that. Well, let me do another one for you. I would call that flash frying. I'm not sure if that's the actual term, but it's just shallow grease. That may be all that we need. Let me do a couple more, just to make sure. Because these are really good, even if you just want to take them and put a little cheese in them, roll them up with a little bit of onion. It's really good just like that too. I don't think that I have really looked to see all the wonderful things you can do with these, but I know that, you know, we love to go out to a Mexican restaurant. It's delicious. We have several that we really like in our area, and every time we go, we kind of have the same thing, but it's always delicious. Okay, let me see. I don't know that I can move that out of the way, but I need to get it off that heat. All right, we're just going to finish these enchiladas up. Take those really, really hot ones off, because I will tell you that they are hot when they just come out. So let me see. We may have enough of these cooler ones. So y'all had a good day today? Sunday here, so we had service, which is nice. We do the social distancing and wear our masks, but it's wonderful to be in the house of the Lord and worshiping. Then we had a nice treat. My mom actually fixed lunch. We went over and had lunch with her, and my cousin and my sister were here. So that was almost like a party. It was delicious. Mother cooked. We had ham and all the good stuff that goes with it. But you know what? It was just great to be able to actually see some people. We've really paid attention. When they say not to do something, we haven't done it. So it is nice when you actually had that opportunity. Okay. I think I've just about got this done. Let me count and see what I've got. Let's do one more. Boy, I cut it pretty close on those onions. But you, like I said, you know, the kids that don't like the cheese aren't here. I mean, like the onions aren't here, so we're just putting all the onions in. All right, that is done. Let me move this kind of out of the way, because we are going to finish the enchiladas. It's going to be right in the way. Let me see if I can put this over here. Marley, you're going to have to move it. There you go. All right, this is ready for the sauce, and this is ready to go on. It's just it's almost just like a chili, really. It's what it looks like, and it's what it tastes like. But you just take this, and we're going to let that just fall over the top. Doesn't that look yummy? I think I'm going to save this a little bit, because really and truly, I could save that. Use that for something else. Let's get some of this yummy cheese that we just chopped up. As little or as much as you like. We like it cheesy. I'm going to save this cheese because I'm going to show us the next thing. Okay, now these are done. All we did, and we'll post the recipe. You'll see what all's in here. But that's the enchiladas. They're delicious. Very special, very delicious. We're going to put those in the oven. But before we do, I'm going to mix up. I'm going to set them right here. That's just my holding station to get them ready to go in the oven. This is a Mexican cornbread. We've always had Mexican cornbread with it. But I do like to make it in these little muffin tins just because it's kind of nice to have just a little individual Mexican cornbread. So that's what this is. I have mixed a cup of cornmeal with 2 eggs, a chopped onion, a can of cream style corn. We put 1/3 cup of grease in here and 3/4 cup of milk. So it is kind of runny, but it cooks for an hour. So it's going to be delicious, I promise. What I do is I just stirred that up because it's been sitting. I got these other ones ready for us. You take and put, I would say err on the side of maybe less than half when you're just putting this together, because the middle is going to be the fun part. Then you take jalapeno peppers. If you like them really hot, buy the real hot ones. That's what these are. They're the hot. Put those in the middle. I've made some with and some without. That makes it nice too to make them in the muffins, because you can do that. It's kind of hard to do that if you make a cornbread in the regular dish, because how do you separate which has got pepper and which doesn't? On top of these peppers, you're going to put some cheese. So that's going to make it in the middle of your muffin. It's going to be the jalapeno and the cheese. And you can always see that it's already got that cream style corn and a little onion. So you just put this on here and top it. Now these are going to have to cook for quite a while. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick these in the oven. We're just about ready. My muffins need longer, so they're going on in. This is not going to go in probably for about 30 minutes. But in the meantime, let me show you what I'm going to make that we can actually munch on in the meantime. And it's super simple, but everybody loves guacamole, or most people like it. So let me show you real quick and simple way to do it, and I think it's delicious. This is all I'm going to need. I take that back. Let me grab this. This will be all I need. We have in here, I've already got 2 avocados. And I'm going to show you how to do one. Most people know how to do an avocado. It's super easy. They're really good in the stores here. Sometimes I feel like they're a little too firm, and I don't know what you do in a situation like that, because I cut that one too shallow. You just want to cut right through and then pull them apart. That one didn't work the way I needed it to, but we're going to make it go for it. Then you just slice through. Once you do that, let me get this little piece out. Just scoop it out with your spoon. You see how I went through and just sliced it so that when it comes out, it's already sliced. All we're going to do is go in and use our we're actually going to use our meat chopper to mash these up a little bit. But if you didn't have that, you could either use a potato masher or anything like that. Well, let me see. I had a little mishap here with this one. So let me show you what we're going to do. We're just not going to worry about this one. We'll do that when we get done. I say that, but I'm still trying to work with it. Usually that little seed just pops right out. And it would have if I hadn't cut it shallow. It is what it is. Okay, we're going to go ahead and I'll finish that. Just a second. But you just take this and kind of mash this up. As chunky or as mashed up as you like. And you know, at this point is when you would be chopping all your tomatoes and your jalapenos and all that. What you take is a can of Rotel tomatoes. Now, I don't know if y'all are having this where you are, but here we're having some shortages in our store. We don't have everything. So when I went today to get my stuff for my dip, we didn't have the regular tomatoes that I use, which were the Rotel tomatoes. And I love those because you can get mild, medium, original, hot. Well, this is what they had. Hatch diced green chilies. So this is what we're using. It looks the same, smells delicious. We just pour that in. That's all your chopping, all your tomatoes, everything that you would have to do. Then we're just going to add a tablespoon of fresh lime juice, and that's really just half a lime. You got your rest of your lime to put in your tea or whatever. Mashing that up a little bit. We're going to add a half a teaspoon of salt. Now, I will tell you too that we sometimes add a little more salt at the table or when I get it all mixed up because these avocados don't have a lot of distinct flavor. Then we're just going to add a little, half a cup of red onion. You know, growing up I call these purple onions, but we chopped that with our food chopper and made it real fine. Just because it's not cooking, it's going to be a raw onion. So the small little onion, perfect. See how that just mashes it up? And like I say, if you want it to be smaller, keep mashing. We like ours a little chunky, so I think that's where I'm going to leave that. And I put the salt in. Just calls for a little bit of black pepper. And you know what? I think that's all we need. I will taste it. And we will see if we need anything else. Let me just go over this again, make sure I've got everything in my bowl. I have made quite the mess here. 3 avocados and a 10-ounce can of Rotel or whatever you have in the store. Half a teaspoon of salt, black pepper. Oh yes, I have some cilantro. And this was the funny thing too. In our store today, Walmart didn't have cilantro. I had to buy these little cellophane pack of cilantro. So, we're just going to put a little cilantro in here. I think it's just, I'm just going to pull it off. And that's all you need. We put that little bit of onion in here. This is going to be some delicious guacamole, and it was simple. All you need is some chips or put it on your enchiladas. So, in the oven, we started the cornbread. In about 20 minutes, we're going to put in our enchiladas, and then 20 minutes after that, we're going to have delicious Mexican dinner. I may pull together, I've got some delicious yellow rice that has got a Hispanic flavoring packet in it. We may have that. So I think everything is in what it needs to go in. I think we are ready to just wait, and I'll see you back here for a delicious Mexican dinner. Welcome back, everyone. I am just about to get these enchiladas out of the oven, and oh my gosh, they smell delicious. It's a little warm right there, but oh. Look at that. Doesn't that look delicious? It smells heavenly. I had just taken my little Mexican cornbread muffins out of the oven, and they're sitting here waiting. You know, if you can let these things set a little bit, of course it's not going to burn your mouth when you eat it, but it also will come out of the pan a little bit easier. These are just going to be delicious. And, you know, they freeze well too. Listen, I wanted to tell you, there was a couple of things I thought about. I have made these before. You know, I made them with beef, ground beef, but you can easily make them with ground turkey. We've done that before, and that was delicious. You can eliminate the onions. I was thinking about that. I actually do that when BJ's home, and I just make like half a pan without onions, half a pan with. It's just up to you. It's whatever your family likes. The thing is, you get into the kitchen and you make something delicious, and like this is a memory maker to me. I remember having this all my life, and our kids have enjoyed it, and I still like it. You know, it's not something that we make very often. It's very, very seldom that we make it, so it's very special. But I hope that you'll try that. And then I wanted to tell you too, on these muffins, another thing I like about making them in these little pans, they cook quicker. This recipe called for it to cook for an hour, and these took maybe 35, maybe 40 minutes. So just keep your eye on them. And if you make a full pan of cornbread, then yes, you're going to have to watch it, but it's going to take probably closer to an hour. And then these, because these are special recipes, look at these. They are tried and true. They are loved. And they are in my super special recipe book. So those will go back in there and be ready for the next time. And then I've got our guacamole. I kind of rushed through that with you, but I wanted to show you that because it was done and we weren't ready to eat, we weren't ready to snack or do whatever, I put it in the refrigerator. When you do that, make sure when you put your cover on it, this is just plastic wrap, put it right down on top, because you don't want any oxygen, any air to get into those avocados, or it's going to start turning them brown. So this is delicious. It's just a fun addition. I've got our rice on cooking. In the length of time it took for everything to cook, I've got the kitchen all straightened up. So when we're done with dinner tonight, all we'll have to do is stick our plates in the oven and put our dishes up, and it'll be time to sit down and rest. But I hope you'll try these. It may seem a little daunting. It's not. It's following directions, and I know each one of y'all can follow directions. You won't have any trouble at all. And we love Mexican food, so I hope you'll try it. And if you do, let me know, because I'd love to know. Anyway, enjoy your dinner tonight, and we'll see what happens next week.